Now, I'd like to tell you about how stories work for businesses, for corporates, etc., and for marketing. But before that, let's forget the PowerPoint. Let's just look at the handouts you have. Before that, what I want to do is I want to tell you how to tell stories. Is it okay? Are you game for that? Yeah? So here's the first thing. Here's the first thing you want to do when you tell a story. The first thing. Hey, can I atras a bit? Is that okay? Is that okay? In storytelling, you can atras all the way, no problem, It's not structured. What I want to atras is that Brother Bo said inspiration. He mentioned inspiration. So I want to put that in. Leaders, or when we inspire somebody else, what does the word inspire mean? Inspire means to light a fire inside somebody else. Tama? That means you make them do, you make them, shinde inside their soul, and then they warm up and they want to do something and they want to achieve something. That's inspiration. So stories do that. Yesterday, when I was in Delhi, I did exactly the same thing. I taught leaders how to inspire people. So that's one of the things. Great leaders tell great stories. They put across their message in stories, and I'll add this up. So how do you tell stories? Number one, before you tell a story, before even you conceptualize a story, even before you desire to tell a story, you must want to tell a story about something. When I say something, I mean a truth. Remember, these two ladies were truth and story. The first one was bold. The second one was wrapped in chocolate and ice cream and strawberry and vanilla and flowers and butterflies, right? But it was still the truth, right? So you have to put across one simple truth, a core message, a value, if you may say. For example, it could be honesty or courage or bravery or anything. You must have in your mind, what do I want to put across? If I want to inspire a team and my team is feeling a bit demotivated, so I want to encourage them, right? So courage should be my core truth that I need to put across. So you need to think about that. That means you need to zero in all your thinking, all your imagination, all your intention towards that one core truth. Are you with me? You need to pick that. If you read Aesop's Fables or Chicken Soup for the Soul or any of those great stories, they all have one message. You with me? So you need to choose that. In the depths of your mind, you need to choose that one core truth. Okay. Now, once you've done that, hey, I need to talk to my son, I need to talk to my children, I need to talk to my team about compassion or customer service, whatever it be. I want to talk about the value of that. Then, you pick a story. It's like you want to cook adobo, then you go and pick the kind of meat you want to make adobo out of, right? Then you either go choose chicken or pork or what have you. Then you go pick up the story. Now, I want to put across honesty, or I want to put across humility. What do I choose? So you go and choose a story. Now, where do you get stories from? You get them from everywhere. I get stories when I drive through McDonald's. I've seen Brother Bo talk about on TV sometimes, and he talks about Jollibee. I've heard him talk about Jollibee. So you pick up stories from anywhere. As long as that rings that bell of that simple core truth. It makes a little bit sense. Then you take a little story and then you mold it and you cut it and you paste it and you create a colorful piece. So number one, core truth. Number two, you get the content. Now in the story, you can't tell stories about chairs and tables and teacups, etc. You can, but you have to humanize them. I'm a little teapot. So you have to humanize them. That's why animated movies are all about things, non-animate things which have been humanized. So in the story, there need to be people. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Obviously, in movies, etc., it's complex storytelling. There are many characters. But in your simple storytelling, at the most 2 or 3. 2 or 3, because you want to tell the story in 3, 5, or 7 minutes. So you need to take these characters and you need to build them up, like truth and the story. You need to pick a human being and you need to shape him up so that people can see and hear and feel him through your words. characterize it, define it very quickly, you know. So here's a little character from my life. Back in 1969, well, stories usually start like that too, no? Like a little setting and a little timing, so you can start anywhere. So back in 1969, I used to be in a school called Sardar Dastur Hojang Boys High School. It's a very crazy kind of a name, no? And the school was a Zoroastrian school. How many of you know what is a Zoroastrian culture or a faith? A little bit like the Persian faith. They pray to fire. Fire is their god. So I was in that school. There were about 600 boys, and we had different kinds of teachers. We had fat, short, tall ladies, some sexy, some not sexy. Sorry, is it sexy? The word sexy allowed to be used in this? All right, some curvy, some not curvy. Amongst them, amongst all these teachers of different faith, there was one Christian teacher. There was a guy, Zakaria, you know, Zakaria, Ravi Zakaria. So, well, he looked a bit like Ravi Zakaria. His name was Arputaraj. A bit like my name, but kind of complicated. So, Arputaraj used to be a short, dark, big-bellied, curly pomade hair kind of a man. And he used to have a thick brush-like mustache, really black. And then he used to walk in school like that. And he used to teach us science, arithmetic, and English. So he used to carry these 3 books, and he used to carry a box of chalks, and he used to carry a duster, eraser for the blackboard. And he used to walk around like that, smiling at everyone, saying, "Good morning, good morning." He was the nicest little teacher in our school. He had this strange habit. He used to come inside any class, and if the windows were closed or if the doors were closed, no matter whether it was summer or dusty outside, this guy would say, "Hey, open up the windows, open up the doors, let in fresh air." That was his way. He used to say fresh air. So, the boys in our school, it was a hooligan school. It was a, very naughty school. I was one of the kids there. So in that school, they nicknamed him Sir Fresh Air. That was his nickname, Sir Fresh Air. And people used to say, "Good morning, Sir Fresh Air, good morning, Sir Fresh Air." So one day, he comes to class. And for some strange reason, Sir Fresh Air wasn't smiling his cheek-to-cheek smile. His teeth were not showing, his mustache was not bouncing up and down. But he came to class with a very solemn look on his face. And the boys were busy throwing stuff, flying planes, etc. Sir Fresh Air comes into class, sits down on his desk, picks up his eraser and cleans the blackboard. Totally clean. Spick, spack, clean. One more time, cleans it. Then takes a chalk and he puts a little dot in the center of the blackboard. And he says, "Today we are going to learn about astronomy." And he sits down. And the boys go, "Sir, astronomy, sir? Is that astronomy, sir? So what is that, sir? Sir, Fresh Air, what is that, sir? Sir, what's going on, sir?" And usually, Arputaraj would respond and laugh and, sit down, naughty boys. But today, he was in a strange kind of a mood. So he sits down on his desk and he doesn't move. He doesn't say a thing. He's just staring at the whole class, and he's like got this faraway look on his face. I was there, somewhere in the back over there where Larry Gamboa is. And then he sat there, and after a while, the boys gave up, because you cannot tease a person who will not be teased. He wasn't responding, so they surrendered, and they sat down. Then Sir Arputaraj stood up. He said, Imagine, he says, that the whole blackboard is the universe. And imagine, he says, in that universe, there are galaxies and there are Milky Ways and there are solar systems. Hundreds and thousands of them. And the boys go like that. Their jaws drop. There's pin drop silence in the room. And he says, imagine, he says, of all the galaxies, of all the Milky Ways, of all the thousands of solar systems, that little dot that I have put on this huge blackboard is our solar system. Ours. with our sun, with our 8 or 9 planets, including Jupiter, Venus, and Mars. And he says, now imagine within that dot, which is our solar system, he says, is our Earth, one of the 8 planets or the 9 planets, whatever they are. And he says, on that Earth, which is inside that dot, is your great country of India. And he says, in that great country of India, which is inside that dot, and that dot which is inside that blackboard of the universe, is your wonderful hometown of Pune, which is right next to Bombay. And he says, in that town, which is in that dot, which is inside the solar system, is your Sardar Dasur Hojang Boys High School. And he said, within that school is your classroom, and you 50 boys are sitting there, and you're just one of them in that whole speck. And the whole class was silent. So was I. And I was thinking, Sir Arputaraj wasn't teaching us science, maths, or astronomy. That day I thought, Sir Arputaraj had taught me a lesson in humility. He had made me realize how puny I am, that how pride or showing off can kill me. Till date, every time I feel like a little bit bloated, I go back to that story and I come and land right on the ground. Does that make sense? So characters, there we go. So you need to characterize a person in the story. Then that character needs to have a certain kind of a life, and then he needs to be faced with a challenge of understanding a certain value, a challenging of looking after his family, a challenge of also motivating his workforce or whatever his challenge may be. Now usually, most challenges are physical. In terms, they are measurable, money, relationships, home, etc. But in essence, they are all about values, about what is right or what is not right. Are you with me? They're usually that. I mean, you come to think about it. If you have no money, your life is not working, your business is not working, your relationships are not working, it's all about what is right and what is not right. Who am I? Where am I going? What's my purpose? These are the core messages. No? So once you take core truth, take the character, create the conflict. Let the conflict stew a little bit, cook a little bit. You know, like how you make adobo, you let it cook a bit, and then let the character, let the hero in the movie realize what he's doing wrong. Yeah? He might be thinking wrong, he might be relating wrong, he might be reasoning wrong, something that he has to correct within himself. So he comes out a better human being, a shining human being. Then he succeeds. Yeah? See, overcomes the challenge, overcomes the conflict, and then he celebrates a happy ending. All right, folks? So let's go. Core truth, characters, content. And sometimes when you tell a story, you need to build the context. That means, why am I telling that story? Does that make sense? Okay, so I'm going to take a little pause right now. I'm going to give you 2 more stories, and I'm going to tell you how to tell stories. But right now, I want you to turn around to your group mates, and I want you to come up with 2 things. Number 1, a core message you want to put across, and a little story you want to tell about it. So take 5 and turn to your group on the table. Is that okay? Yeah? Core message. What is it that you want to put across? Honesty, justice, law, what have you. You know, any kind of value. Go ahead.